Hi everyone, my name is Jess and I'm one of the perinatal and under-1 workers for the East Hertfordshire Family Centre service, and during this video I'm going to be discussing how to promote healthy eating for your babies under 1. So babies are usually ready to start solid foods from around 6 months, and it can be quite a daunting time when you start introducing solids to know what food and drinks are healthiest for your baby. So that's what I'm going to do during this video. I'm going to go through some healthy meal ideas for your babies and also cover what drinks are best for your babies whilst they are under 1. So there are many different baby food and drink products available to buy from the supermarkets. So it can be quite overwhelming to know, what do I need to get these for my baby? What do I do? So these food pouches and jars, they are very convenient. However, we would recommend that you only use these on the odd occasion, such as if you've got a really busy day or if you've got a day out. And there's a few reasons why we would recommend only using them on the odd occasion. So these pouches and jars, they tend to be a lot sweeter than home made food. So if your baby starts to have these pouches and jars when they're first having solids, they get quite used to having the sweeter taste of food. So when you try and move them on and introduce them to more realistic kind of tastes of food and like some vegetables, they can kind of appear quite bland compared to these pouches and jars. So you may find it's a little bit more of a struggle for your baby to adapt to these new tastes and textures. And they get that bit of a sweet tooth. So it's best to try and avoid using them too often. The pouches and jars, the consistency of the lumps is usually not very consistent. So this can be quite difficult for your baby's progression in terms of moving on from blended to lumpy, to chopped, and then whole finger foods. So it can hinder that progression slightly because the lumps, they're not very consistent. So they'll be used to quite pureed bits and maybe the odd lump. So it's best to kind of mash food yourself, and then you know the mash and the lumps are very consistent throughout the meal you're providing for your baby. These jars and pouches, they also work out a lot more expensive. So it's just, like we said, they're convenient the odd day out, or if you just got like a really busy day. But if you can make these foods yourself at home, it's a lot healthier for your baby and also a lot cheaper. The jars and pouches, they also contain higher free sugars, and you want to be mindful of the amount of free sugars your baby is having. It's recommended that you don't give your baby food and drinks if they do contain free sugars, as these are not great for your baby's teeth, and so avoiding free sugars helps to prevent tooth decay. So homemade meals, they can be really quick and easy to fit into your busy day. So the First Steps Nutrition website, as well as the NHS Start for Life website, these two websites provide lots of great examples for meals that you can make for your baby. So they break these meals down into the different age brackets and as well as the different meal times. So they have different examples for breakfast, lunch and dinner. So you can get lots and lots of inspiration from these websites. So they are a great tool to use when you're trying to think of new recipes for your baby to try. These websites, they also break down like the prep and the cooking times. You know roughly how long it's going to take you to make this meal, so you can kind of factor that into your day and be prepared beforehand. And it also shows you all the ingredients needed and then the step-by-step instructions. So I'm now going to share some of these healthy meal ideas with you. So if your baby is 6 months and you are just starting your introducing solids journey, we recommend that you just start with some vegetables, and you can try different vegetables and try presenting them in a different way. So try blended, mashed, and also finger foods. So present the vegetables in a range of different ways so your babies experience lots of different tastes and textures. And then moving on a little bit, once baby's a little bit older and they're starting to have their 3 meals a day, here are just some simple ideas for you to make at home. So for breakfast, you can try porridge with fruits such as blueberries and bananas. You can make egg cups, or even have toast as a finger food with a side of fruit. Moving on to lunch, you could make some vegetable pasta, some sandwiches as a finger food is a good idea, beans or egg on toast as well. And also moving on to dinner, you could have things like spaghetti bolognese, a roast dinner, like a little mini version, and some fish pie. So all of these recipes, they are on the NHS Start for Life website. As I said previously, they state the cooking time and the instructions and ingredients needed. But basically the main idea is that you don't need to make specially adapted meals for your baby. Whatever you're having as a family, the rest of the household, baby can have the same. They can have nearly all of the same ingredients. So it will save you a lot of time to just give them a little portion of what you're making for yourself. So if you're making a spaghetti bolognese, you could just put a little portion aside, and either like blend, mash, chop, or provide it how it is, depending on what stage of the introducing solids journey your baby's at. You'll know how they have their food. So it works out, it saves a lot of time because then you're only cooking the one meal, and it also works out cheaper. And like you said, it's the same ingredients. So going back to kind of the breakfast, if you're having porridge, making some porridge, you just use normal oats that you would use if you were making porridge yourself. So there's no need to buy the specifically marketed baby porridge. And the same as if you were going to do them like a chili con carne for dinner. The rice, you can just use normal rice. There's no need to buy the baby rice that is marketed in shops. So like I said, all of this, they're healthier alternatives for your baby. And it also works out cheaper for you, and it saves you time because you're not cooking multiple meals. It's you just want to be mindful of things like added salt in your cooking. So if you're using like salt to season your food, it's best to not add this to your baby's portion. So maybe just get a separate little pan or pot, or depends on what you're cooking. So your baby can have a little portion, and then you can add the salt and things to your portion. This just helps to make the meal a lot healthier for your baby, because babies don't need any added salt to their meals. And also, you just need to remember that babies can take up to 10 times before they decide if they like certain foods and meals. So it's just keep trying. If you offer your baby, for example, some porridge at breakfast and they don't eat it, it doesn't mean they don't like porridge. It just means that that was a new taste, that was a new texture for them that day. So you do need to keep introducing these meals to them. So if you start introducing these type of meals to them from 6 months, and introducing all those tastes and textures, they're more likely to like these home cooked meals that are not as sweet as like the pouches and jars, and they get used to those flavours and those textures. So as they get older, they're more likely to eat a wide range of foods. So this is what's healthiest for your baby, and the best option when you are starting to introduce solids and make meals and things like that. You may also wonder and think, I don't really have time to be cooking every night. So what you could do is, on the days where you do have time, is to meal prep. If you're making yourself, like I said, a big pasta bake, for example, you could have your portion, and then you could freeze some smaller portions just in some Tupperware, and that could go in the freezer. Or the fridge, depending on how long you would like to wait before you give that to your baby. And then you've got some quick, easy meals for them on those busy days, and they're already made, so it would just be kind of reheating. So that was just some meal ideas, and now I'm going to move on to what drinks to give your babies under one. So babies under one, their main source of drink will still be their milk. So that's either first infant formula or breast milk, and that will be their main source of drink under one. They can have cow's milk, but that will only be in cooking. So as a drink, cow's milk should not be given until baby has reached the age of 1. And then the only other drink that is recommended for your baby is water. And it's best to offer this at meal times in an open top cup. This just helps to progress their development and also helps to prevent tooth decay. So that has covered lots of meal ideas and what drinks are best and healthiest for your babies whilst they're under the age of 1. And as I said, the First Steps Nutrition website and the NHS Start for Life website, they are 2 amazing websites that have lots of other meal ideas and also snack ideas for when baby's a bit older, so once they're over the age of 1. So you can get lots of inspiration and ideas from these websites. I hope you have found this video useful, and remember to check out the First Steps Nutrition website as well as the NHS Start for Life website for lots of more ideas.